And so we begin. So the plan is I want to kind of think about what kind of animations do I want to make, because I have, like, on the last stream I mentioned I was going to look through some stories that I made in my younger days. And I gotta be honest, a lot of them are not great. Yeah, a lot of them are just not that good. And it's not to say that none of them are useful, because, you know, they've all were stories that, you know, were built upon each other. So I can safely say that, like, while it's, you know, gonna be difficult to really pick up a story and be like, hey, this will be definitely something I can write more about or animate, that's not the case anymore. It's gonna be very difficult for me to do so. So instead, I think I need to think a little bit more outside the box and be like, alright, instead of looking at my old ideas, let's think of maybe something new, but not too new. Basically, we don't need to make a whole world right now. We just need to make something, an idea. And honestly, some of these ideas will definitely the idea I currently have, actually, I'll say, will require me not only to kind of figure out how do I draw movement and, you know, people. I have to learn how to draw backgrounds more, which is a good thing, honestly. I don't mind learning how to draw backgrounds, but it definitely will require it, so I might have to do that more often. But with that idea in mind, the first idea that I want to actually do is kind of like a... I'll be honest, this song has kind of inspired me to do so. Can I get something bigger here? An adventure story. The idea, and there's nothing really too deep about this idea yet. It's just that, hey, I want to write an adventure story, and I don't mind animating it or like drawing concepts along the way. Now it's to like kind of whittle it down and be like, okay, what kind of adventure story, and maybe possibly have there been adventure stories that I've had in the past? And actually I actually have had adventure stories that I made in the past. I just now remembered one, and it was about, like, I think a year ago when I made this, because yeah, it was a year ago, because literally a year ago I thought about it. I'm just like, yeah, this is not that bad of an idea. It's not super original, I'll say, but it was a lot of fun, because that's when I started drawing a lot of the plague mask doctors. But I have to then think about, what's it called? Like, what's that word? Perspective. I need to practice perspective then with that one. But I'm trying to think also, like, the idea. Actually, you know what? I'll keep that in mind. Here, I might as well write it down. So yeah, there's I'm gonna bring it back maybe. Plague Doctor story. That one's a little bit more slightly, I guess, in the epic side of things. So potentially more of, what's it called? It's kind of like, I guess, more of a like a Souls-like fantasy kind of a story. But then, on the other hand, of course, you know, with this song and also some of the inspirations of my life, aka Studio Ghibli, I would definitely want to make one that's a little more possibly lighthearted. Although in my head currently, I cannot think of any lighthearted stories that I've written in the past. Maybe I dig deep enough, maybe, but I have to actually, it'll be something new, completely new I have to make. So, light-hearted story. And then what's another thing that I could do for like a adventure story? Because we have something that's like a Souls-like. That's, you know, kind of like the epic kind of story. We got a lighthearted story. Honestly, I have to be between those two, really. I can't think of anything else, really, when it comes to that aspect of, like, an adventure story. Sorry. Sorry for my throat. Then the second thing I thought about recently about when it comes to animating that I mentioned before was kind of like snippets of a music that I like and just kind of animating my own imagination as like, like a snippet of a music video in a way. Because I definitely listened to the song Sharks by Magic Dragons. I definitely just had envisioned a older story that I written in the past. And honestly, I wouldn't mind going into that one in depth because I feel like that story was not that bad of an idea. It just needs a lot of touch up and more of like... Because that story was definitely inspired by a dream I had once. But the thing is that, of course, as dreams usually occur, they don't make sense, really. It's like, yeah, they can seem cool or like seem interesting, but in reality, most dreams just don't make sense because it's just a jumble of different ideas. So for me, it's like, okay, maybe not. I shouldn't do this. So, but I can do that when it comes to doing it now with that mindset of it's going to have to be something new. So instead of, like I said, an adventure story is one of them. The other one is, I guess music shorts, I'll call them. I'm gonna have to just find music that I can imagine scenarios in, animate them, and of course those ones will have to most likely have their own characters and stuff and backgrounds, but again, that's something to do with me, is that I need to learn how to draw backgrounds in general. So I need to try to find, and I actually have some inspirations of like what kind of backgrounds I can draw. I just need to take pictures myself. So for that one, for the music stuff, I just need to take pictures of backgrounds, really. Oh, no, of course. Well, adventure story, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can take pictures. They're gonna be a little interesting pictures, but yeah. But overall, though, yeah, pictures would definitely help me with this. So, yeah, music shorts, really. One idea, I guess, is Sharks by Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons. But then... trying to think, I don't really have anything else of like, oh, this is what I want to animate kind of deal. I think that's really it. So now it's about, okay, what do I need to do in order to, make this possible? And as I said before, for both of them, really, backgrounds are going to be very vital into this production. So take pictures. Find references. That's definitely going to just be a very vital part of all of this. I'm dying. Oh god. Need a cough drop soon. I don't know. But then yeah, background, take pictures, find references. And yeah, but that also includes perspective and like positions. I'm gonna have to take pictures really, because something I've realized along the way of like having to find references online, a lot of them just don't encapsulate what I really want. That's in my head, what I'm envisioning. So in order to do that, I need to take pictures myself, because I am envisioning something, make it reality myself kind of way. So I need to try to take more pictures and stuff. But with that thought in mind, give me a second. Gonna invite a friend here because I need someone to kind of bounce ideas off of. He's gonna take his time to answer, so we're gonna move on to the next thing on the list of ideas, though, because something else I've realized that I wanted to think through was a story that I kind of forgot about, and I'm just like, oh, you know what? There's that story that I wanted to do. Okay, so yeah, I kind of want to bring it back. It's gonna be a little bit interesting. In the culture of how light novels are produced, we all know a lot of Japanese light novels tend to have titles that are questionably long, lengthy, and stupid. I have my own idea now. This was after a little situation I had myself, and that story is called My Sleep Paralysis Demon is a Roomba. I am not joking when I say this, by the way. This is something that actually happened to me where I was literally trying to go to sleep. Then, I had my sleep paralysis moment where I kind of was in and out of sleep, but also I couldn't move my body. But, like, in the past, whenever those situations happened, nothing ever happened, okay? Like, there was no demon, there was no sound. It was just me in kind of like a panic state. Eventually, kind of realizing where I am, going back to sleep. One time was different, though, because in that dream, or not dream, it wasn't even a dream. Like, well, I don't know, maybe it was a dream, but basically, I heard something. A sound down, down from my room that was getting louder and louder and louder and louder as time went on. And for the life of me, I couldn't go back to sleep because I was actually freaking out on what was that sound. But the thing is this. The sound, when I woke up the next morning, I realized was very similar to a Roomba. And I was convinced that I had a sleep paralysis demon that was a Roomba that was slowly on its way into my room. Luckily, though, my dog, I heard him barking in my sleep paralysis state. So possibly, my dog drove away the demon. So who knows? But yep, my sleep paralysis demon is a Roomba. So yeah, I can make that. Okay, so that one definitely. I mean, it could be an animation. That for all we know, it'd be funny maybe. But I just want to mention this because it's like I definitely have an idea of making this possibly a comic kind of thing. But who knows? Maybe that won't be as impactful as a animation. But don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna maybe balance that idea off a friend of mine soon when he does get on. But yeah, there's that aspect of it all. Yeah, but yeah, back again though to the main point of everything. So first idea of my animation stuff. Okay, this is gonna slowly focus on animation. I want to make an event. I want to kind of animate in a short adventure story because one thing that I've always wanted to kind of showcase to people, what I wanted to kind of put into people's like eyes and like an experience of like wonder, because recently I will say that I recently had this weird imagery in my head and like a strange urge that I know it's completely impossible for me to do, and it's like it's weird because like again it's impossible, so why the heck would I think to myself, man, I want to go there? And it's because I saw a picture of the pillars of creation, which is an actual phenomenon in space where I believe it's like dust particles, or like, yeah, giant dust particles. Some, I don't exactly, like dust clouds or something like that in space that are in the shape of a hand, and they're called the pillars of creation. And I just couldn't, for the life of me, just for some reason in my head, in my childish heart, I just got this thing where I'm like, oh, I want to go there. And I'm just, but then of course right afterwards I'm like, how the freak are you gonna get there? You're never gonna make it there. Like, it's impossible. It's completely impossible. It's not even like, you know, like, for example, Mount Everest kind of deal, where it's like, I can tell myself, it's impossible, you can't get to the top. It's like, with enough training, maybe. By the way, do not go to the top of Mount Everest, you will die. Like, you will die. Like, I know there have been stories of people going up there, but do not go up Mount Everest, you will die. But yeah, it's like, it just, the sense of wonder and the sense of like the urgency to want to go somewhere, just, it hit me deep in my heart. And I'm just like, wow, I want to kind of portray that maybe in a story or something. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I could have a go at that. Make a kind of like an epic world building kind of series where I slowly create a world, and eventually maybe we shall see a full-on story, full-on series of it, maybe, who knows. But that's why we have the two ideas right here. So there's the Plague Doctor one and the lighthearted story. The lighthearted story, don't know anything yet. I don't have an exact image of like, oh, what kind of lighthearted story do I want to tell, because I don't have any. Most of my stories are extremely dark and edgy and stupid. So the lighthearted one is definitely going to be one where it's like I need to think a lot more and kind of just like let my childish heart take over in that sense. The Plague Doctor story, though, is a story where it's, again, it's like Souls-like, like Elden Ring kind of thing, where it follows a in this world where plague doctors encapsulate like dark magic of some sort, and they're the ones that have to defeat the demons in some way, but or like it's just a kind of like a quote-unquote cult or a guild that wears these plague doctor masks because they represent birds and crows and stuff like that. So, but again, like, it's nothing amazing. And also the plague doctor idea, like, that is just to be kind of like give a like a gothic view, but eventually it was supposed to slowly disappear out of that into a more bright world, because that's how I wanted to start off the story. I remember how I envisioned it, where I wanted to be where it was going to be extremely dark and grim from beginning, slowly turning more light and bringing in more colors and life into it. Because, I mean, interestingly enough, maybe for me, when I think about it, I realize to myself where I don't like coloring. As you might know, I don't like coloring. So with me not liking coloring at all, well then, what better way to do it than start off by just practicing how to shade with, you know, black and white and gray, those three color sets, you know? Because, like, anyway, like, that's how concept art start off anyway. Colors are the last step. I have a bad time with that, though, because, like, I often think to myself, like, I need to have the colors so I can have an idea of what I want, but it's like, no. The colors will always be last. Details have to become later when it comes to color. But yeah, so that's something to think about when it comes to the adventure story. Now, when it comes to the other thing, the music shorts, that's just me having to come up with, you know, finding songs that I can think to myself, like, hey, I want to animate that, you know? Because, again, Sharks is a good example. I can maybe look around, maybe find some more songs to maybe think, like, hey, I want to make a small short of, like, animation for that. But another thing I have to really think about when it comes to this is I'm going to have to learn how to do copyright stuff, like, hey, you know, like DMC, my bad, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, that'll come later. But it's definitely an idea. But with this one, though, definitely it's gonna have to come up with, like, not, I won't say simple, you know, character designs, but more like I need to come up with character designs that are not so taxing on my own creativity and effort. So I don't want it to be that, you know, like, oh my goodness, I need to think about this, you know. Of course, though, with these ones also, this stuff, it's like, I don't want it to be that kind of way either. I want it to just, like, that's another thing I wanted to think about, though. It's like, what kind of, like, character designs do I want to be doing? Like, do I want to be doing character designs that are a bit more along the lines of like simple shapes and colors, like not colors, simple shapes, like like circular things, more box-like stuff, and like I mean, of course, we could do like this kind of thing where it's like a stick figure. Yeah, it's like I can go in that route of much more simple shape language. And instead, like as you saw right here, this head is more ovalish, so I can just start off the jaw right there and just go off from there, and just like and like with the legs too, is like just simple shapes like these, like nothing too complex. I don't want, like, maybe I can think that, like, that's the thing though, it's like I could go in this route of much more simple shapes instead of something that takes more timing, which would be, I guess, an example would be more anime like, or just freaking heck, like if I had to, a hand, it's like just kind of be like, hey, this is a hand, kind of sense. But no, like I would have to maybe instead do more of the long lines of like actually structuring the hand. Like I know that's a bad hand, by the way. This is a very bad hand, but you get what I mean. It's like I have to decide like what kind of simple direction I want to go. Plus also, hey, anyways, this body, this human right here, it's somewhat complicated anyway in its own form, it's not simple. Like again, an example of like, for example, like the legs, like replace this with a what of course this looks like crap, but you see what it means. Like I have to figure out like what kind of vibe do I want to be pushing out with these stories. Because again, a more complicated animation will definitely take a lot more time, but will it catch people's eyes? That's the question for people like me, where it's like, in the end, like even though we want to create things what we love, we have to also understand what is human nature and what makes people go, this looks interesting. Especially for me, it's like, I don't just click on any animation, be like, oh, I'll just support this animator. It's like, even though I should have that kind of mentality, it's like, no, I'm going to look through my feed of YouTube or Instagram and be like, ooh, this looks interesting. I want to click on that. So I click on it and it's like, maybe that's interesting. And I watch it and I think, wow, I had a lot of fun watching that. Because not just a story, most of the times, actually, sometimes the stories don't even make sense. But dang, dude, the animation is like, or the character designs make me go, wow, I enjoyed that a lot. So that I have to think deeply about that as well. So I have to kind of go into it and be like, I can't just make something and be like, hey, this works. Like, no. And plus also there's an aspect of like, do I want to copy someone? It's like, no, of course I don't want to copy someone. I guess because I drew that figure right there, I might as well do a little Plague Doctor. Like, how had I done Plague Doctors before? It's been a while since I've drewn a Plague Doctor. Yeah, you guys, that's the Plague Doctor right there. I don't know. Roomba? I mean, that's the thing. It's funny enough though. It's like, how did you draw a Roomba? Is this a Roomba? That's the best room bug I can draw. I don't know, man. Okay, you know, since we're gonna do the brainstorming thing, how about I actually now... Literally, yeah, let me just do this. Let's brainstorm something that's a cutesy, more lighthearted one. Like, and of course, like, let's try to think, like, hey, what makes something so lighthearted in the first place? I swear my throat. Dang, man. Alright, so... lighthearted adventure. And so what makes a lighthearted adventure? But also, what do I want to prioritize when it comes to making a lighthearted adventure story? Because you can make a lighthearted adventure story that's super cutesy, super, you know, nice, super, you know, like happy. But as we all, like, you know, the most simple way to think about things, of course, is the plot mountain. And if you just do a super cutesy little thing, this is all you're gonna have right here. Introductory. There's no rising action, no climax, no falling action, no conclusion. Or maybe possibly you're just gonna have an introduction that's going straight to a conclusion kind of deal. Which, of course, is not very intriguing to say the least. Like, unless you're, like, the only thing that'll make that kind of thing intriguing will definitely be the visuals. But if your visuals are not good enough, then it's like, what's the point of watching this? So when it comes to me, a lighthearted adventure, what kind of conflict has to be implemented to make it to where, hey, this is still lighthearted, it's just got actual conflict to it? Because I will say, for when it came to my Plate Doctor, you know, adventure story, with that one, it's a lot more, you know, there will be grim moments, and definitely it's going to be kind of like a somewhat of a, not exactly political, but it's like a psychological and mixed with the politics kind of thing of like, oh, there's that kind of conflict. Of course, that was never thought out. It was just the idea. But when it comes to a lighthearted story, what are we looking for? What is something I can implement? And just now, I just realized something that I kind of want to implement, which is, you know, a very special thing to me, a paper dragon. Oh, wait, actually. That's right. I just now thought about it. Oh my god, I just now thought about it. So, yes, so basically, the lighthearted adventure story, inspiration, and this is where everything I have to think about now. Inspiration, my backyard. Let me write that again, my backyard. So, what do I mean by my backyard as an inspiration? Is because as a kid, when I used to not play games, I would always, you know, find myself going into the backyard and, you know, just playing around. And like, the thing is this, usually I don't even have, you know, like action figures or toys with me when I'm in the backyard. Instead, I'm just playing with the plants and such, and I'm kind of just imagining things as I go along. And, you know, of course, everything's in my head. But like, what's occurring in the backyard? Well, to say the least, it kind of has to, and goes into the lines of, you know, that movie called Ants, or like that other freaking film where like that boy got shrunk to the size of the ant. I forgot what that movie was called, but it was along the lines of that kind of deal. However, of course, I was excluding the fact that, you know, they're like the actual humans. Like, no, like, technically speaking, the best way I can put it is that it's, you know, my backyard is the setting, but everything is, you know, I'll put it like this, hugified. Everything is bigger. And basically there are civilizations in this backyard, and it's like, I remember specifically, so during the summer, or like I think mainly the spring, the willow tree, or where there used to be willow trees in my backyard. The willow trees, they're you know, flower buds when they grew in the spring. They kind of reminded me of like weird looking dragons. So basically, to draw the seed, like how it kind of looked like. So here's the stem. Here are the leaves. And then here's the seed kind of thing. And sometimes I get lucky when it comes to this, and it'll have an extra stem right here with a leaf right here, and it kind of, and I know it doesn't look much, but in my head I could like imagine kind of like a dragon-like figure in this thing. And so with that, like there's that though, this dragon that lives in my, not lives in my, like, there are like several of these, these spit buds, and I was like, I can envision it, but also like these weird like weeds, even the weeds I can imagine, because like there's this one weed that kind of goes like this, and it has like these purple things sprouting out of it, and it stems up again, and this again, but then like again the weird purple things. And I remember thinking to myself when I saw these, like, these look like tiny little towers and such. And so it's like, oh, again, I imagined a world in my backyard. Wait a minute. Hold up a second. Give me a second. I need to find something. I just remembered there was a document of a paper that I wrote in freshman year of college, and it actually has to, it was called My Backyard or something. Let me see if I can find it, and I will read a snippet. I guess I'll screw it, I'll read it. Who gives a crap? Who gives a crap? Who's going to stop me from reading my own paper? Is you? Who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me, huh? Alright, so let's see. My life is a backyard. It's really interesting. Okay. That might be loud, I'm sorry. It's really interesting to me when people talk about their backyards, and the reason for this is because no one talks about it. In my case, however, I have a lot to say about my backyard. The reason is not only because it's big, but the fact that it symbolizes who I am as a person. When people see me from far away or even up close, they tend to say, I'm a nice person, and that's all they say. I've got more going on in my life than most people think, and I'm certain that most people agree with the idea that there are more things happen in the background of our life. That was a little rough. When entering my backyard, you are first met with rugged concrete, making you question if you want to enter head-on unprepared. Going in unprepared lets you have the most authentic experience, while going in prepared makes you lose the true experience. Wanting to truly understand what the backyard feels like, you tread barefoot. You are first scared that you will hurt your feet, only to be surprised that it doesn't hurt at all. Instead, the concrete is welcoming. After taking about 5 steps, you will be met with the grass. Oh wait, my friend's calling me. I need to go.
Hello?
Hello.
Holy shit, you're quiet.
I'm quiet?
Yeah, hold up. Also, there's like no signal for you.
What do you mean there's no signal?
Camera signal.
Oh, I don't know why I had my camera on. Not bad.
What's up?
Not much. Right now I'm reading a paper that I wrote. So basically, I'm trying to figure out like animation stuff, like what I want to do in my next animation.
Yeah.
Such. How much more? Oh, this is a long paper. I think I'll just stop reading it for now. But to give you context of what I have kind of covered over, what I wanted to work on, and such as that, let's backtrack for myself.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, I actually wanted to do kind of like start animating a small series of kind of like an adventure story, I'll say.
Yeah.
And the first one is an idea that I had a long ago, not long ago, it was literally about a year or two ago, which was the Plate Doctor story.
Hmm.
And like this Plague Doctor story was kind of supposed to start off as this very grim and dark kind of fantasy that slowly turned more colorful, more life of just gaining more life as it goes, because like the idea is that all these people are secluding themselves from the world in this one specific spot.
Yeah.
And like that place is dying, but that's the only place they know because they're too scared to go beyond that.
Hmm.
And of course, like I'm going to have the story kind of follow along these characters that decide, hey, we had enough, we're going to go out, and they're experiencing this new world. And of course, there's like lots of dangers, lots of things they don't understand, but it's supposed to be kind of like an epic adventure.
Yeah.
But that's a little complicated, so I decided, all right, so I need something else just in case of like an idea if that idea doesn't really work out for me. So
If it doesn't start sailing.
Wait, what?
If the idea doesn't start sailing.
Yeah. So the other idea that I started kind of contemplating at the moment is a more of a kind of like a lighthearted story.
Yeah.
And that story I thought about, and I couldn't really figure out what I wanted, but then I thought about it just now of something that happened, like basically inspiration is my backyard,
Yeah.
where when I was a little kid, whenever I was bored during the summer, I would go outside in my backyard and play by myself. But like it wouldn't just be me going out there, like bringing an action figure or two outside along with me to play. No, it's literally me with nature, and just like I would play with things like the weeds, the grass. Specifically, in the farther part of my backyard there used to be a group of willow trees. And on the willow trees during the spring, they would sprout out these little like seeds and buds.
Yeah.
And like I drew it on stream, but like basically like the little seeds had like they kind of like came out as branches, and also had a bunch of leaves on them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but specifically, some of them would like have 2 or like 3 leaves, and I always imagined them as like, oh, they're like, and like when I poked like kind of broke them off the main part of the tree, it kind of reminded me of like a small dragon.
Yeah.
And so I was like, like when I was a kid, I used to kind of have this idea of like a world that was built in my backyard, and like, and it's not like the human world and like everything shrinks down and there's a new civilization. It's like, no, like take away everything that's human. My like the backyard is its own world. And so
okay.
we go in. It's like, oh, a whole new world, a civilization there. Some of the weeds, like do you know like those weird weeds that like kind of like sprout up from the ground? They have like kind of like layers on them, and like they have those purple things that come out of them.
I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to really imagine, but basically when I see those, I used to think, oh, those are like tiny little towers, because there are different levels on them.
No, not the towers. Anything but the towers,
No,
man.
watch your jet, watch your jet, bro, watch your jet.
Watch out, jet.
But yeah, basically it's like I had that idea of like, oh, there's like there's that. And so I thought about it, it's like it's definitely going to be in the works. I have to think about it more if I want to go with this idea.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be a more lighthearted story of like, using my backyard as an inspiration and such. But then, like, okay, so yeah, those are mainly my 2 ideas when it comes to like, adventure stories. And like these will be like a mix of, I want to, kind of animate, but also, of course, with this is these 2 story specific ideas will have to be heavy in the like me learning how to paint backgrounds or like draw backgrounds.
Yeah, scenery is hard. Scenery is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, scenery is
getting this idea is hard, and then the entire like let me like color this, let me shade it in right.
Yeah, so
Did I do this correctly?
Oh, but funnily enough, I thought about it, and it's kind of funny for me because like this is kind of how I am currently. The Plague Doctor one is a little bit of like a symbolism for me as well, because currently when it comes to me drawing, I like drawing in black and white and with a little bit of gray. I don't like implementing colors into my drawings because I suck at coloring. But the thing is, as time goes on, I have to slowly put in color, and so like the idea is I can literally start off this story in full black and white, but as soon as they start entering the this new the new world and stuff like that, that's when color is introduced into the scenery. But yeah, so there's those two ideas when it comes to like, you know, animation or like just me practicing how to draw stuff, like, you know, making a webtoon series or something like that. Another thing I thought about, in which way, you know, kind of like I guess like start my stuff for YouTube Shorts in a way,
Yeah.
where I would be doing small like kind of like music shorts where like basically I take snippets of songs and like that I like, and I just kind of animate my own like envision of like when I hear those lyrics and stuff like that. Because like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard the Imagine Dragons song called Sharks?
No.
So yeah,
I don't listen to Imagine Dragons that often, so I wouldn't know.
yeah. But like, so there's a song they have called Sharks, and like with that song, I'm just like, I've listened to it today. I'm just like, I thought about certain things, and I'm like, yeah, I wonder maybe that'd be an interesting idea. Thing for me to do is like, if for my animation practice, I just draw basic human movements and stuff like that, and just like draw like someone singing the song, and put it as a short out and like that.
Oh God.
What?
I'm playing Genshin right now.
Mug.
I am listening to you.
No, I got it. You're good.
Yeah.
But then,
dude, no.
the final
I'll say it after you try it.
Okay. But then finally, the last thing I wanted to do is I'm not sure if I talked about it with you. I think I did, but so
probably, I'm not gonna lie, I've probably forgotten it.
Okay, so basically, I wanted to make maybe a small series, you know, very short, you know, maybe 4-panel series, where the title is called "My Sleep Paralysis Demon is a Roomba."
Huh? What type of light novel like level ass the fucking title is this?
No, that's the thing.
What?
It's poking fun at the light novel titles, but also it's because, Josh, this is something that happened to me in real life.
So you're telling me that your sleep paralysis demon is now just a Roomba? Okay, hold up.
It's because,
first of all, what are you on?
Okay,
what are you
let me explain.
What are you cooking?
Okay, let me explain the scenario. Okay, so basically one night I was sleeping.
Okay.
And I've had sleep paralysis multiple times, but never have I ever had demons, you know, or like, you know, I never would have like a situation where like I would see shadowy figures. Like, no, I would see nothing. It'd just be me in my room, and sometimes my room would be a little distorted, or like some colors would be not the right colors. But besides that, I'm just kind of like, you know, I have a little bit of panic, but that's it. You know, I go back to sleep. This one time, though, I heard something outside down the hallway from my room. And it's just this noise that's gradually getting louder and louder and louder. And I realized, oh my God, that's the Roomba. And I'm like... And I'm just like, oh God, it's coming. It's on its way. It's about to hurt me. And then I heard Charlie, you know, my dog, start barking. And then the Roomba noises stopped. And I'm like, Charlie saved me. Charlie made me live. He saved me from the Roomba. He saved me from my demon. And I remember waking up thinking to myself, like, what am I on? What happened to me last night?
What am I cooking here? Excuse me, but what the fuck am I cooking?
So yeah, so there's that, and so it's like, yeah, that'd be like maybe if I can find some way to make it a comedic 4-panel series and just start posting on Instagram, I want to do that. Yeah, that's really about it. As I've really covered in my stream so far.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just need to start doing stuff for this, because like, yeah, I'm a little worried about certain things in life, so it's like I really want to start picking up the pace, and I want to kind of like solidify some ideas, and so that even equivalents me to like I need to start writing again, basically, which is going to be fun. Because like basically recently cleaned up my OneDrive or my Google Docs and started looking through them.
Whoa.
And like I looked at some of the stories and I'm just like, oh God, like this is me teenage angst.
Oh dude, I still write teenage angst. What are you talking about? I embrace it now.
Cause like, let me see if I can find one that like I remember reading to myself and going like, oh my God, I think this is the one. This is the one I made a long time ago. I think in like not eighth grade, 10th grade. I made this one.
Actually,
in 10th grade.
on the side, I'm just gonna show you. Oh, God damn it! Yeah, I'll show you this. Just as a side thing, as you know, because this is what I'm doing right now.
Organizing your weapons in Genshin.
I'm combining them. Look at how much shit I have. Fucking A. No, but continue on.
I did, I will say, I did, start Genshin again, but then I stopped because I was like, I don't like this game anymore.
Dude, it's Windbloom, man. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite festivals.
Oh, but
see, the thing is, Lantern Rite sucks ass. Windbloom is just like it's peak. So many good things.
I would say, in my opinion, from what I remember, when it comes to the Lantern Festival, it's aesthetically pleasing mostly.
Mm-hmm.
The event itself, like getting all the rewards and such, suck.
Oh, dude, man.
But when it comes to Windbloom, most of the rewards are pretty much free low. So it's like,
yeah, dude, I love Windbloom because it's just such a fun event. The only problem is that I don't want to do the fucking story. That is the one thing that I have a problem with Genshin, is that it's like, okay, you wanna like spend like 30 hours or like 20 hours just listening to dialogue that you don't give a fuck about. Yeah, sure. I'm like, I don't care. I don't even know the Genshin story anymore. Like, I've stopped giving a fuck.
okay, so I'm trying to think. I think that's really what I wanted to plan out. Because, like, the main thing I really need to do now when it comes to getting this all together is, for one, I need to start, taking more pictures from, like, the outside, and also getting reference photos of, like,
Yeah, that's
like people and perspectives and stuff. So I just need to do that, really. So that's the first step when it comes to me getting this all done. And besides that, it's just normal ass drawing and just practicing and stuff like that. So I think that's where I'm going to actually end this stream. So if anyone's watching this, thank you and goodbye. Hey, bye, Josh.
Bye.